For example, English letter E is by far most common letter than T, R, A, N, I, O, A, S. Similarly, very rarely used, depends on the zone, Z, G, J, K, Q, X. So, if you look into this statistics, letter frequencies, you will find it out that E is maximum is used, T is the next maximum, and so on. Those who have played the word game, English word game, they without nothing is there, first everyone press E because most of the word E may be present. Then they try with T, then try with A, and so on, so that they can guess some of the character or alphabet in the word, then remaining can be created. Similarly, this is single frequency. Similarly, we can have a double, triple. If you go to the double, we'll see this is called diagram, two letter combinations. If you go TH is the maximum appearance. Trigram, THE appears maximum. Those who have done machine learning electives and others, you may have gone through that things called n-gram approach. This is also similar n-gram approach. Actually, it came from here. It is try to find that two alphabet together in their two features together. Diagram, diagram, you can create the statistical analysis and you look into the ciphertext and try to find their statistical frequencies, diagram, trigram, and so on. So single, diagram, trigram, and try to guess few words. And if you're able to guess few words and you know which are the people who are talking each other, automatically you can guess remaining words and able to get the things. So during this World War I and World War II, a lot of things happened and a lot of things came up for communication purpose. Instead of monoalphabetic, they came up with two alphabet substitution. Playfair is basically two alphabet substitution. So the Playfair key matrix is MONARCHY. This is the keyword. So please, 5 by 5 matrix. This is the table or matrix table. The keyword written like this. Then remaining word, just one after another you write it and fill up this 25. Obviously, we have 26. This is one place. One of the word, alphabet will be, two alphabet will be one place. In this example, two alphabets I and J kept it together, and usage pattern known to the sender and receiver. Preference will given to I or preference will given to J. So it tries that any two alphabet can be replaced with any other two alphabet as per this table. For example, if we have NA, two alphabets, we can replace by AR, or AR can be replaced by RM. Similarly, OH can be replaced by HF. PV can be replaced by VO. The convention can be utilized if they are not in same column or same row. Then, for example, H and S, you can continue either column wise or row wise. Even H and S can be replaced by V and B, possible. So this convention is known and replace this. But there is a possibility one word can have like fill, F-I-L-L. F-I-L-L, we have F-I, two words, L-L is another two words. Sorry, two alphabets. F-I is two alphabet, L-L is two alphabets. If I have to use this table, then I have to make it that consecutive two alphabets should not be same. So I have to add filler. So A phi L X XL or some filler I have to add it to make it that two alphabets are distinct, and accordingly we can do it. At the receiving end, what is the filler it is used and how filler it is used, they can know each other and find it out. I don't want to go in details, you can find it in book. So what is we will come this is the this will come back this later on. What is actually talking about that frequency rank letter, what we discussed about few minutes back here that frequency of a letter or an alphabet, how much, this frequency it plotted here in frequency rank letter, decreasing frequency this side, and normalize relative frequency when you compress, encipher it. It is the plain text, Playfair easily breakable, and we will come to Wegener cipher. That case, it will be like this, but we want it should be uniform. There will be no question of this, the random polyalphabetic. Let us see other cases. Hill cipher is another cipher. Please read yourself. I have just kept it here. Hill cipher is basically instead of the two alphabet, they makes a three alphabet case, a matrix. From three alphabet, you can create another 3 by 3 matrix multiplied by 3 characters, matrix multiplication. Obviously, character means or alphabet or letter means 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 26. And you matrix multiplication, you will get the 3 new alphabets, which is combination of the 3. You can find a strong again ciphertext only attack because a combination of 3. You cannot find singleton. Similarly, polyalphabetic case. Let us come to the Wegener cipher. Wegener cipher is basically a very important ciphers before any other DES. Assumption was that two parties, that is the first party and second party, sender and receiver, use a key. That is, this key is decryptive. So if this message to be encrypted, we are discovers save ourselves, then remove all the space because space is not used. Our alphabet is from A to Z, and deceptive is the key. Deceptive, you can repeat it and use the Caesar cipher like W plus D is Z, E plus E is I, A plus C is V, A plus C is C, because 0 to 25, A plus C is C, E plus R is this, and so on. You will get the ciphertext. This ciphertext, people felt that this is polyalphabetic. So too many alphabets are here, so no problem. This will not be a big issue. It will be a very good cipher. But if you look here, you will find it VTW, and another VTW. Similarly, you will find some of the things are appearing, similar things appearing again and again. Why these things is happening? Because language has redundancy. The characters or alphabets are coming in such a positions, they are mapping from one to another, that is plain text to ciphertext, same alphabet mapping to ciphertext one alphabet, remain same or repetitive nature. So redundancy is not the correct. The mapping A to here it is E plus R is V. This mapping again, if you come to similar scenario, you will find it that the mapping remain some property. So what people have done it, they found that repetitive nature in ciphertext. And in this case, VTW is repetitive nature. Then what they try to do, this is a three character. So they try to guess how many characters or letters available in the key. So in this case, it are 9 characters. So 3 or 3 is a factor of this key size. So they try to guess the key size. If they can guess the key size, they can easily break into this ciphertext into size of the key. That is the philosophy behind it. So deceptive is 9, from here to 9. So they have to guess the size of the key is 9. If they guess it, they can break into different groups, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. And finally, they try to do it cracking, best guessing now, try to write each and every alphabet of the key. And it is very not difficult, it is able to break. So that's why the Wigner cipher, some other option came up that is called auto key system. What is auto key? Remember, auto key should not forget. Auto key is very, very important. Auto key word will be used DS, AES, or in future all security systems. So remember this auto key. What it means? Key will be automatically changed or key will be generated automatically from the system. One of the option here shown here. See, the deceptive is here. The rest portion, instead of deceptive, the same plain text is added here. The plain text, whatever was there, it is added here. So key, instead of only deceptive and repeated one, it became key is initial 9 character alphabet, rest other the plain text, and continue this. This found to be far better than the earlier one because the plain text, the first attacker try to guess it is 9 or it is key size. The guessing key size become more difficult compared to the earlier scenario because repetitive nature are not happening so easily because the plain text may not have repetitions like the key repetition 99999. So let us see some mathematics. What is language redundancy, unicity distance? It is not available in books. Okay, this part is extra here. As we mentioned, human language are highly redundant or natural language are highly redundant and and this context, the Shannon, the famous Shannon, whose capacity theorem, you know, channel capacity theorem, may you know, similarly sampling theorem, he also came up with a very nice things called entropy based language analysis in 1949. The entropy of a message X represented as HX is nothing but number of bits required to represent all possible messages X of X. So basically, a message X, entropy of message X related to the number of bits information needed to encode a message X, which means if I know the message sizes and message, all possible messages, I can encrypt this message into few bits. So basic thing is that this cannot exceed 2 to the log to the base 2 n bits if n possible messages. This is entropy. Now come to rate of language, which defined by Shannon, which is very important also. Rate of language for message length k. You remember the message length is playing big role. You cannot find all possible messages. Message length. The rate of language or message length k denotes the average number of bits in each character. So basically, your message length is k. Then you can find it out in that message length for an alphabet set, natural language, how many characters used, how much it is used, all these things you can guess it, you can calculate it, and from that you can find rate of language D is equal to HM by K. M is all possible messages. So basically rate of language average number of bits, message length K denotes average number of bits in each character this is talking about. And rate of language of English is found to be 3.2 bits per letter. What it means? We have 26 log to the base 2, 26 is 5 bits, 32 because it goes towards 32, 5 bits, but you don't require 5 bits. We actually it is 3.2 bits requirement. So we are keeping in that way. So Shannon came up with very interesting parameter. It's called unicity distance. What is unicity distance? The security of cipher must not be too small. This unicity distance will find. Amount of ciphertext capital N needed to break it, a cipher system, is, he came up with this capital N, which is HK by D, where HK is the entropy of information. So now small k and the capital K don't mix it. Capital K is talking number of keys, basically all possible keys. What it's talking about HK is if I have all possible keys K, then HK is the entropy of the key and D is the rate of language. We'll get capital N. N is the amount of ciphertext needed to break the English character. So in polynomial based monoalphabetic substitutions, like what we have done, the Caesar cipher, 26 alphabets. So log to the base 2, 26, we can, so we have all possible keys, 26, actually 25, 26. So log to the base 2, 26 number of keys divided by rate of language English is 3.2, then 1.5 characters are required. That means 2 letters required to break, 2 characters or 2 letters required to break Caesar cipher. Similarly, if we come to the other scenario, when we mention the permutation of all alphabets, that is 26, factorial 26, one of the permutation will pick up and use as key, then we can write it, the how much character or alphabet is required to break is HK is nothing but log to the base 2 factorial 26. So the factorial 26, this is the formula you can replace, and it is 3.2 is the rate of language. Then it comes to 27.6, that is 28 characters or letters required to break if we use permutations of alphabets. So you can easily find it out, few important things. So what is Wagner cipher? If you go to the Wagner cipher, the polyalphabetic cipher, if as S possible keys for each sample substitution and D keys are used, then S possible keys and each simple substitution D keys are used, then 1 minute. Hello? Oh, 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 oh. खिड़की खुली थी, खिड़की खुली। पहले स्काइप आईडी दी दियो। So basically what it talks about, this case, the key HK, the key can be replaced by, you have options S possible keys and simple substitution, D key is used, then S to the power D, and you can easily find it out. This will be 1.5D. So Wigner cipher can be break by two things. So 9 plus 4.5, and that means two repetitions good enough. So today we will start this very important property from these derivations, is the perfect secrecy. First, we have three sets. Set 1, the plain text. Set 2, the ciphertext. Set 3, the key set. So a crypto system has pi-based accuracy if conditional probability, that is the plain text, the ciphertext generated by the plain text M, C generated by plain text M equal to this, that means equal to P, that means all plain text M and all ciphertext C. What it means here, it is talking is that this conditional probability will not remain. So all plain text will map to all ciphertext. This is the things it is talking about. What is talking? All plain text can be, all ciphertext can be generated, because the condition is ciphertext, from all possible plain text. So all alphabets, for example, all alphabets, 26 alphabets, any alphabet can go to any ciphertext. The lemma, next lemma is telling the reverse one. The first one and second one is just telling that many to many mapping. First one is many to one ciphertext. Second one, one plain text can generate several ciphertext or all possible ciphertext. So many to many mapping. No, plain text set 1 can map to any of the elements or what is called, any of the elements or alphabets in the, or the entity in the ciphertext. Similarly, the vice versa, this definition 1 and lemma is talking about that. So next lemma is talking about, assume that crypto system is perfectly secure, then size of the key, the number of key should be greater than equal to number of ciphertext should be greater than equal to number of plain text. What it indirectly saying, that key size will be such a big that searching with plain text ciphertext pair will not that easy to crack key. So your key size is very big, and compared to the plain text ciphertext pair, and that is the main things it is talking about here. So key should not be reused. If key will reuse, the plain text pair will be increased. So the next, which is important one, today I have to end it very early because I have some other work. So finally, the theorem, which is talking about perfect secrecy, let some belonging things is shifted here. Okay, some symbols are here, epsilon belonging. Let us assume plain text is M, is a set, capital M, ciphertext is capital C, key is another, uh, these are the things supposed to be here in these conditions. So M is the plain text set, capital C is the ciphertext set, capital K is the key set, number of keys, encryption algorithm, and DK is the decryption algorithm. Denote the crypto system with minimum requirement is size of the plaintext size of the ciphertext size of the this one minute. Hello? Uh, 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 uh. So this then the crypto system provides perfect secrecy if and only if every key is used equiprobability. That means aim to see all key equiprobably used, means all every key from all elements can see to see elements and see with probability this 1 by this the total number of keys, and each small m, that is selected elements, belongs to m, and each small element c belongs to the set. There is a unique key k such that ek, this encryption, it is actually telling that last one is actually telling that this reversibility property. So what we learn from here is that the plaintext size, ciphertext size, and the key size should extreme scenario may be equal. If they are equal, then perfect secrecy will be achieved. So if we go back to today's first slide, what we discussed, today's first slide, what we discussed, unconditional secure. Unconditional secure, if we go to the unconditional secure, what was there under unconditional secure? That no matter whatever, no matter how much time an opponent has, it is impossible for him or her to decrypt the ciphertext simply because the required information is not there. So now if we equate this into the perfect secrecy, you can find it out, is that your number of possibilities from plain text to the ciphertext with number of possible keys are all equal. Because all equal and no more messages are available, no more information available, then automatically the system will be perfectly secure, or unconditional security property will be maintained. Indirect meaning, key should be as large as possible, and that implied we cannot use a key more than once. If we use key more than once, if we use English-like language, multiple communications with same key, your plaintext and ciphertext pair will be highly populated, and key, if you reuse, key size will be reduced, number of key possibilities will be less, whereas message pair, the ciphertext plaintext or plaintext ciphertext pair will be large enough to break this. We'll repeat this in next class tomorrow, again little bit in details. So what I wanted to say that this is a very important one. You have to remember key usage should be, so should be this, because the lemma is talking about key should be large, and these two, ultimately the theorem is condition is that you cannot go beyond this. So key space has to be as high as possible, and if you don't use the key more than once, automatically your system will be secure. And that's why it came up the one-time pat. The auto key system came in picture. That's why auto key system came in picture, which we discussed in the beginner cipher. We'll discuss in the next class. We have to end it today here for some other reason. If you have any questions, please send me by email or WhatsApp, or you can talk here also, or chat box. In gist, what I wanted to say, key size has to be bigger than the plain text and the ciphertext size. And key as less as reuse is the best. And if we can reach up to that, then we will get the perfect secrecy, and breaking will not be that easy. If you go to the Caesar cipher, what is the key size? 25. What is the ciphertext size? 25. If you say that uh, plain text size is 25, you say it is perfectly secure. It's not. Why? Because every character I am utilizing same key, and I am having plain text care key is always same. Then you can say, why not you get factorial 26? The factorial 26 also they are repeating in nature. Same key is used for same alphabet, multiple scenario, so it will breakable. So key size is very small, and plaintext size is very small. Ciphertext size is very small for Caesar cipher or monoalphabetic. So breaking is much easier because your exhaustive search can take care of it. So size sufficiently is required. Reuse minimum is a requirement. Okay. So we will meet tomorrow same time for the next portion. Bye.